welcome back to Game 5 of the day, where FlyQuest and CLG hope to keep the upsets alive. Because if you tuned in yesterday, both of these teams... Wait, what are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm doing anything.
Anyway, I'll have you do something right now. Let's talk about this matchup, because both of them picked up the W's yesterday. I want to know, who are you hyphy on?
I'm hyphy on all of FlyQuest Academy. I feel like I've been hyping them up for like 2 weeks now, internally, a little bit on some other podcasts and stuff, but like, I cast them twice. In the first game I watched them play, I was like, wait, these guys are nuts. And I'm so down with their playstyle. When they initially did the swap where they only brought 3 of the 5 in, I wanted them to bring the entire team, triple and NXI. And we kind of got to see why yesterday. Like, they are so aggressive. They're so hyphy. They'll make bad plays. They don't care. They're going right back on the map. They're doing it again.
This is something that, again, I tried to bring up this up with Artemis. I tried to bring it up with Tactical. Like, I love when Academy and amateur players can just come to the LCS and play like this. Is it always a good idea to go in? Heck no. But I love that they're going in anyway. Like, I feel like that is, again, like, this is how you learn your limits. This is how you learn how you work together. This is how you learn how to, when you can, like, overestimate your hands, I guess. I don't know. Like, I love when players have this much confidence in their mechanics, this much confidence in how they can come together as a team and fights. And just having that confidence takes you so far. And I think it's something that's so honestly underestimated by so many teams.
And this is something that I think the FlyQuest main team can take a lesson from, because even though they have phenomenal players in Jose Diodo, even in Palafox, like we mentioned those players, we've seen that Johnson's done in the past, like they're just not a unit. There are times where they can do, like, they can make a play topside. You know, jungle could work with support a little bit more, or with mid lane, but a lot of the times that's not happening. But with this team, you're seeing that. So I've been really excited about this team as well.
And that's why when, you know, like in the post-game threads, people are like, oh my God, Cloud9 lost to FlyQuest Academy. They lost to an Academy team. They suck. And I'm like, this is a good team. Like, when you watch them play, they're legitimately playing as 5, and they'll punish you if you do something dumb.
Well, and their opponents, CLG, I think, are also kind of in a similar boat to what you just said, Raz, where they found this way to, I guess, unify themselves, and they have, like, good players, right? And they found that one composition that's like, okay, we're gonna play this, and it's going to put us all on the same page, right? Because we're all going in. We all know that we can press our R buttons at the same time.
Yeah.
But then they weren't able to, like, iterate on that. They weren't able to take away from that composition. What was so important about it was that it put them all on the same page in fights. So regardless of, again, whether it's necessarily the best idea, they're all going in and they're all able to, like, stack CC on top of each other, and then they pivoted completely away from that.
That's why I think rallying around concepts in a team identity is better than rallying around a composition. This was what we saw from FlyQuest last split, when they were all around the Seraphine, Hecarim compositions, right? It looked good in the initial outset, and then next week when it's getting banned against you, or if teams are picking strategies against it, you go back to step 1 where you're like, we still haven't kind of solidified, like, building a plan as a team, like, and kind of going to that next step that makes us better. So FlyQuest have been, at least with the new iteration of FlyQuest, doing just that. Play that I wanted to hit on is like Diamond, who's, you know, was there on that team in Spring Split, comes back, and he's mentioned it on his social account on Twitter, like how it's nice to be back and performing.
On the player I'm most excited for CLG, let's say, it's easily Broxa. I mean, Diamond, it was really nice to see him come back into the league after that time away. Broxa, with the draft stuff that we were just talking about, I feel like I was so glad to see him abandon all those cheesy ass picks, man. Like the Vi, the Rek'Sai. Like, Diana's hella strong. I was so glad to see him on meta picks again, because he's, I think, their best performing player. Easily. And so that takeaway also kind of dismantled TSM's draft. I loved seeing that, because just give him some power picks in the meta. Like, let Broxa play something good.
Yeah, the draft questions for me has always been there for CLG, and it's nice that at least what we saw yesterday is a good indicator of where they're going, because they still have good engage within that comp. So a lot of the lessons that they learned with the previous comps, like the Bongo comp that we talked about previously, like they're doing that and being able to solidify that. Smoothie getting an MVP or player of the game in the last game, was a lot of it was based off of his engagements.
Yeah, really quickly, if you're looking to Brox on one side, obviously you mentioned Diamond, but Emily, who are you looking at most on FlyQuest?
I love NXI, actually. I think, obviously, he's the player who came up, was scouted, actually, by FlyQuest from Scouting Grounds this past year. He was previously on 100T Next, or 100TX, whatever they called it. But I think he, like, seeing him with this team, he is another one of those facilitators who's always going to go in. And again, it doesn't have to be a good idea sometimes if all your team's on the same page. And so I loved seeing this entire team be able to play together on the LCS stage.
That side of the desk looking at the junglers in this matchup. Let's go ahead and see who can keep the dream of the 3-0 weekend alive as we send it over to Pastry and Crumbs for game number 5.
We need some love for the supports.
Thank you very much, Letargus. Okay, Crumbs, CLG versus Fly, a breakout of nights. Very briefly, I have been looking forward to this match all week long. The fact that we now finally get to satisfy the question, how would an Academy team do in the LCS?
Pretty good so far.
Yeah, taking down Cloud9. And so CLG, though, is a dark horse, always. That is just the name of CLG. Doesn't matter how well they're doing. You never really know what you're going to get. So I do think that this will be a good test for FlyQuest Academy. Thus far, though, they've looked pretty good. I have enjoyed the fact that they play the laning phases really well, too. It's not just the teamwork. The fact that Triple is getting solo kills against Perks yesterday was very impressive. So I think that this team has a lot going on for it, and I think that Lucian will also be a priority. Both of these teams won yesterday, and both played that as a key instrument to their strategy, ensuring that they had a mid-priority.
All right, so we're already going to get something different here. Kalista first ban for Fly, answered with Thresh by CLG, but a blue side Diana ban from FlyQuest already changes a lot about how this draft is going to play out. Zinzar going to get banned as well.
Well, I feel like Brox's champion pool hasn't been that wide. All right, he's playing Vi, he's playing Rek'Sai, no one cares. Those picks are not that good. So you show up with the Diana, and suddenly, like, okay, maybe he's got one more champion that's really meta right now. If we can target that, maybe he won't play another very powerful champion. Will he play Viego? That's the question I've got, because FlyQuest can deny it. I'm sure NXI can play it. Kumo played it yesterday, so that seems to be the pinch away against CLG. And if they don't have an answer, they're banning away Nocturne too. I think a Viego pick can really deny CLG's options here.
Yeah, I mean, Viego very good here, right? Can flex into 3 different places, as you've already mentioned. Kumo looked good on it yesterday. Very confident in NXI's ability to pilot the champion. I think Nocturne is very powerful, so I respect the ban by CLG, but again, like, this draft was already going to be so different with Diana getting banned in the position that it did. And now for CLG, what do? I guess you start with Wild Turtles. Varus, also something that looked good yesterday.
It looked good, but now the question goes back to the junglers. 4 AD junglers, the most prominent right now, have been taken. So now your solo lanes are going to be consisting of AP champions, which means that you're not going to be skirmishing, scrapping as early as you would before. So looking to see if CLG goes back with something like a Bongo comp once again. Varus can help with that, and he can also set up a Rumble if they really want to play something that is more meta right now. It will be a set locked in, though, so not showing their hand, but still keeping the possibility of those drums making their way back onto Summoner's Rift.
Well, probably Finn's champion for CLG, but of course is flexible. We'll see what Fly want to do, though, because again, like, don't have his... Oh, Gwen's up. Okay. That's a really nice 1-2 there for FlyQuest.
Yeah. And they can flex it into the jungle, right? They can flex it away, already securing that they also have a Jhin into the bot side. So now could be the avenue for CLG to pivot into full engage with the Varus to assist with that, since the Jhin won't obviously have self-peeling tools, since no Tristanas or Ezreals will be on FlyQuest's side. And Thresh will also be denied, something that if you've been watching Academy, you know that you just don't let Diamond have.
Yeah. Cool that Toma's going back to Jhin as well. Is maybe going to have some issues up against Varus Leona. Lots of targets on your head there as a Jhin.
I'm getting worried, Pastry. I am getting very worried. Last pick for the jungle is almost never worth it. Red side trying to counter pick with the jungle. You don't get as much value as you would from the laning phase. You're just never actually interacting with other members nearly as much as your laners. And the likes of maybe a Karthus or a Fiddlesticks is what comes to mind. You already have plenty of physical damage, and it seems to me that that is where CLG will want to go. They can still be hard engaged, but Leona is not as reliable as what we've seen them before when they go full commitment on the dive engage. So I still think that CLG will pivot away from hard engage and probably give us a Karthus.
I think either that or give Pubi a mage, right? Orianna could be okay. I mean, Fly, like, yeah, we'll ban the Vi, sure. Like, what else can you play?
I think if you ban Karthus right now and just give Broxa the benefit of the doubt that he'll play this pick, the rest of the AD champs are just really hard to pull off. A Kindred doesn't make a lot of sense here for CLG side. Graves doesn't work with the composition either, and so banning away Karthus forces you into Rumble, and you can just say, hey, I don't think you're comfortable with this. I know the composition works, but I'm counting on the fact that your champion pool doesn't span towards those kinds of mages and is more towards the ADs that have already been targeted.
All right, well, Diamond also getting some heat here in phase 2. Already lost Thresh. Gonna lose Nautilus and Brawl. Makali, a good ban there. Again, just limiting CLG's options, given that Fly have already potentially shown 2 of their solo laners, but of course, NXI could be taking that Viego in the jungle. Gwen jungle possibility as well. Not that popular, but is something that she can do as well.
I think the Gwen, I like her more in the lane for the same reason I think you like her too, is that it's just easier to play in the solo and have Viego in the jungle because he gets a lot of value. Doesn't have to sacrifice his laning phase. Will just come out already with a full Divine Sunder. And the answer will be an Olaf here for Broxah, way down the priority of jungle champions because you're not getting value against Gwen, Viego, or Jhin with this pick. Like, Jhin can just run away from you. He's gonna proc his critical strike, he's gonna have Swifties on, and LeBlanc is a great pick against this. So already making sure that the jungler doesn't succeed seems to be the strategy from FlyQuest, and thus far, I'm really liking it.
It's a classic from Triple. This is, he's played mages for a lot of his career. Remember, even though he's new to the LCS stage, he has had a long career in Oceania before coming to NA. I mean, he's been in Academy for actually a few years. So definitely a player that knows any matchup that POB might throw it in, whether it's the set potentially or something like a Syndra, which we've seen quite often. Orianna, obviously a matchup that's pretty common as well. And looks like Diamond's rounding it out with Alistar because there was nothing else to play.
Yeah, the Alistar will be pretty useful to keep Olaf away, or at least having used the ultimate. Lissandra, last pick from Pobelter. We've seen it before. He did play with the Vi last time, so making sure there was plenty of engage. It's a decent matchup into the LeBlanc, but LeBlanc can outplay it. LeBlanc will have priority in this lane. Pobelter is just counting on the fact that if he can catch Triple with the ultimate, with his W, when he goes in, he'll never go out. It's got some decent 2v2 potential, but Lissandra can go over walls, and normally she's paired with a jungler that does so as well, whether it's Rek'Sai or Lee Sin. With the Olaf, that synergy isn't quite there.
Yeah, this does kind of feel like a battle of top side versus bot side. I think Fly's top side really comfy, very meta, right? Definitely something that these players will be happy with. Whereas like Total and Smoothie look pretty terrifying against Jhin and Alistar. Like, these are not your strongest 2v2 laners.
Yeah, Turtle's arrows were really good yesterday, and there's not a lot of tanks, right? There's not a lot of health going to be built on the side of FlyQuest. So if they can snowball from Varus, we know how powerful that early lethality can get to be. Always will have the value with his ultimate if things go astray. But the theme for CLG is just that they're not going to be all diving in, but they all have the ability to engage and follow up on each other. So this should make them work more as a team, and they will need that since FlyQuest has already proven that they have a lot of experience this split alone. They have played 20 games in Academy already. They're 14-6. So they have played more in Academy than CLG has on the LCS thus far. So this is actually a more practiced squad than CLG.
All right, we'll see how it works out on the Rift in this particular game. As a FlyQuest will move out onto the Rift for their second time this weekend. CLG also in the hunt for their second win. Of note, it is Ignite for Kumo. No Flash, something very common on the Gwen, and Tomo has Cleanse because he doesn't want to die.
Yeah, that's going to be really useful against the Lissandra. And CLG, though, they have an Olaf. They can always look for something cheesy early on. They will just be playing to defend topside. Not sure why they fanned out that way without looking for an engage. Now they'll just go back to defend their own side of the map. They should know, though, that FlyQuest has no business invading level 1, so they can walk safely into these brushes, knowing that with Triple in the mid lane, the chances of FlyQuest being in a 4-point formation elsewhere are just too low.
Yeah, Diamond spots 1, gets the info that there is a ward on the Raptor camp. Nothing they can do to stop it, but at least knows that that vision is there. Diamond even going to ward late here to maybe look for any potential very late invades. But it looks like it's just going to be a trade of info. In fact, Smoothie and Total going to get spotted again.
We get to watch Diamond on the pro view. I like watching Diamond, and you'll love to hear his interviews as well. You wanted violence in the LCS. You wanted words being thrown at each player. Well, look no further. Diamond's your man. He's won Academy on Cloud9 before, and he won it alongside Tomo. So this is actually a pretty accomplished Academy team. It's not just your regular Academy squad. You've got a lot of experience here.
Yeah, we have a bit of time, so I'll touch on it. This is the coolest thing to me about this iteration of FlyQuest is like these players all came from very different places. You know, Kumo and Kumo's like a veteran of Academy alongside Triple now, who obviously had a majority of his career in Oceania, including going to Worlds and such, right? So he had a lot of experience, both domestically and internationally. Tomo was a collegiate player that got pulled into Academy alongside Diamond, who's another Academy veteran, and NXI is your Scouting Grounds MVP from last year. So it is like a really very wide mix of players that have all come together to form a very cohesive-looking team.
Yeah, it's really reassuring, too, that the team can develop the way they have in a league that wasn't quite the LCS. So I am rooting for this all the way. Having cast last year of Academy with you, I am always looking forward to seeing how well these teams can perform because the players themselves don't have high expectations except to play the way that they have every single matchup before in the regular league, and I think that really is an advantage over other teams. Emily touched upon it. She likes to see that these teams just want to play their own game, and when they have never played in these leagues, they can't do anything else but fall back on their own patterns that they've developed playing in Academy, and it turns out that if they viewed the game the right way, those old patterns will get you the dubs.
All right, well, Triple actually getting pushed in early on. POB playing pretty aggressive there on Lysandra, but making good use of the early cues there as NXI going to go ahead and take the armor off the Scuttle Crab. Charges up the Spectral Maul long enough for the stun. Pobelter also getting a deep ward. That's some very nice vision that Pobelter is going to provide.
Yeah, and just trying to scout out where NXI will be. They know that Raptors will be down, and so that allows Broxah to maybe path into the red side if he wants to go for anything else, or just take a quick recall knowing that, well, his own laner will be safe from the extension of the vision. It's going to be a quiet game in the beginning until Pobelter hits level 6, and then the violence will begin, because you need to be playing to Lysandra's ultimate, almost guaranteeing a kill every time she has that available. So that will be the cue for CLG. It's something that they're used to. Same thing goes with playing Vi and all these ultimate reliable engages. When you have them available, you need to use them. It's kind of the same idea behind Nocturne, who's so popular right now. When you hit 6, you gotta be hunting for plays.
All right, well, so far so good for CLG. As far as the early game goes, they're actually 500 gold ahead just from farm. That's mostly the bot lane and the mid lane, although mid lane is evening out a little bit more now. Finn also getting a nice big wave stack, so he's ahead, but Kumo should be able to catch all this as long as he doesn't get dove, and he does have a ward to investigate that possibility. Should be just fine here as Finn's going to take a recall.
It's an opportunity to practice those last hits. Let's see, does he actually get to catch them all? So far, so good. One more snip here. Okay, looking good, Kumo. Oh, baby.
Solving the puzzle.
Yes.
He is, in fact, a...
You
cursed.
He needed to auto-cue that.
All right, all good, all good. Kumo getting almost all of them. And as you can see, Finn going to walk back, so not going to burn the TP. I think that's pretty sensible here, but top lane's going to be just fine. In fact, for the most part, lanes are just trading farm back and forth. It really is Wild Turtle and Smoothie that are getting their kind of expected lead. And don't forget, you can tune in tomorrow for next level.
Ooh.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, that's... I want to see what new strategies I can take to run down my solo queue games. So I appreciate that this content is coming out. I no longer have to innovate. I can just watch someone else do it.
All right, well, POV going to clear this ward. Not 6 just yet, and Smoothie going to group up alongside Broxah. Fold is Dragon. This is kind of a tale as old as Olaf in many ways. The Dragon is up for 6 minutes. You're on Olaf. I will take it.
Absolute trademark of this pick. So looks like CLG and Broxah have not missed a beat in how to play this champion, but normally when we had seen the dominance of Olaf, it did involve a lot of action early into the game, taking advantage of the Conqueror and his lifesteal to make sure that you win duel after duel. FlyQuest going to play
3v2 TP in for one, but a counter TP there for CLG. NXI going to get out of there. Pobelter with the ulti is not someone you want to mess with.
Yeah, you do have numbers advantage, but Lysandra defending a dive with ultimate available, way too risky. So they back off, and they can return to the mid lane, and at least they now free up more playmaking in the mid lane as Triple can get to push this wave back, and they won't have Pobelter to deal with roaming to the bot side of the map. I like this itemization from Triple. His first spy is going to be those Merc Treads, making sure that he can lane safely against Pobelter and maybe roam up and just be more aggressive than he would have done so without this item.
Yeah, really nice for Fly. Not only to, set up the play and go for it, but I think back off at the correct time as well, not wanting to overcommit. So, this is the team that will go for plays, but they're going to go for every play.
And you got to test the waters. You got to see, all right, CLG, you're paying attention. Are you going to use your TP to help your top laner out? Because sometimes they'll bait you. They'll tempt you into trying to go for the dive without burning it early. And that's the times where instead of turning into a 3v2, you wait too long, and it's a 3v1 times 2. So FlyQuest still being assertive, and it's something you like to see from your academy teams, just from any team in general, wanting to be the first one to make the play. And so far, they have that over CLG.
Finn with a nice pullback there, trying to trade it up. Ulti actually have a Kuma Ignite there as well. Diamond roaming up, Kuma going to try and dodge up, but Finn already popped the W, and now Diamond's up here. But do they have enough? Pobelter's roaming up as well, so again, FlyQuest have to back away.
Good roam from Pobelter protecting the top lane. I don't think Finn would have chased, but it was necessary that he followed, or else FlyQuest would have committed Diamond's flash and Ignite to go for that kill. So he'll just chill here in the top side, and he won't be wasting his time. He can lay here, he can drop down some early vision, and make sure that FlyQuest can set themselves up for a Rift Hill. It's already 2 plays that FlyQuest have attempted to make, and CLG have answered twice.
Yeah, really nice counterplay there from CLG, and this is not helping Tomo in the bottom side of the map, with Diamond leaving the lane for a pretty extended amount of time. Brox are actually going to sweep out the ward, so there's 2 nice control wards on the right side of the map for CLG, as Diamond continuing to try and stay active here, as Wild Turtle or 1v1 Tomo. Yeah, a nice little triangle there, as Pobelter is going to get mildly chunked, but it's Aftershock Lissandra with ulti and flash up. It's very, very challenging to do anything.
It's a Bermuda Triangle of vision there for CLG, where nothing out of FlyQuest can make it through. That one control would at least allow Diamond to roam here, but until they clear the one at their own edge of red buff, it won't mean much.
All right, top river looking a little dicey, but Kuma going to get out of there, and Exai gets the blue. Diamond going to face check. Broxy going in, pops the ulti, everyone over the top, and that's first blood to CLG as Kuma's trying to taste down Finn, but nothing left there.
That's the argument against free roaming, open pasture, raising your cows, because sometimes they just run away and they don't get to defend themselves from the impending danger. That's Leona, Lissandra just easily collapsing onto Diamond, who's not level 6, so he cannot get out of that.
And it felt like both teams were trying to play for this Herald here, with a lot of movement towards the top side of the map, but FlyQuest are going to lose one, and that's going to give Herald over to CLG. So slow and steady, but certainly successful from the CLG side so far.
Yeah, so Diamond, he's been in vision since the last minute and a half. So CLG have no problem tracking him, and you've got an Olaf who he's never peeling away, and he's too far from any edge to actually flash away. So Diamond got to respect a little bit of CLG before they keep making his plays. You obviously want to still be looking and being proactive, so Diamond's not a player that will be phased out by this, but still got to give them the respect they deserve, because these picks are meant to engage, are meant to pick you off. They can jump over walls, especially the Lissandra.
Yeah, I know you're new here, but CLG, they've been doing a lot of this.
Yeah.
Right? And this is obviously something they'd know, right? Always expect something. Some big engage ulti out of CLG, if not 5. And Lissandra ulti certainly qualifying there.
So I think Diamond can just go back to the lane, hit 6, and then you can do the same thing again, right? Level 6, Alistar getting caught like that, very different play, very different. CLG would probably not have committed everybody. Only the Olaf can truly burn through him with the true damage, and even later into the game, it won't mean much. He'll have too much health to burn, even with those reckless swings. But now FlyQuest have multiple members here grouped up. They'll steal the blue buff. CLG might want to counter-engage.
Triple under POB. Aftershock proc. Second chain's there. Pobelter locked up. Trying to bait it out. Oh, and Exai just took him out. POB, where was the ulti?
Just caught him by surprise. I think Kumo's fine. Just dashes away. Yep.
Yep, buffered the dash out. Has the ignite as well, so Finn cannot chase this.
Pastry, I think this might be the best execution of LeBlanc with an AD jungler that we have seen in the LCS, and it's coming out of an academy team. The fact that these two are actually making plays together, invading the jungle, and looking to play off of LeBlanc is a really heartwarming sign for one of our teams here, because normally we've seen teams really struggle with making plays around the LeBlanc. They ignore the lane, but if you watch how much attention FlyQuest has devoted to this, constant roams from Diamond, vision, the early Merc Trust so that they can play make, and now in a complete Fog of War, they don't see that NXI is there. They just see him take the blue up, but we're back to some action that Triple is just now getting away from.
Yeah, have to use the ulti and the flash by the looks of things, but Triple did escape without getting ultied by Lysandra, so that's a good time there. Rift Herald also still there for Broxah, so can use that to grab some plates and get some extra cash going, but off the back of that, NXI getting that kill means Divine Sundra is now finished.
Yeah, that is early, and so now if CLG wants to go for any sort of play into the top side around NXI, he'll be happy to take this fight. They know he doesn't have flash, but his Heartbreaker will be back up, so he'll have that playmaking tool to either engage or get out of any trouble. CLG still 4 members strong top side, but FlyQuest is answering. This is looking like just a back and forth chess-esque action in the top side with constant plays from either team, and they're always being answered. So the opportunities for these engages have to come out with the quick mechanics that we just saw from NXI.
A big overload there for CLG, but it's the double back to the mid lane plus the Rift Herald that's going to be the big difference. Tomo getting shot down by Total. Good flash. Does have to commit it there to not get killed by Total. But unfortunately, a lot of damage done as Total's getting further and further ahead in that lane.
It's interesting, he probably felt like he couldn't tank that and cleanse and walk out of it, so instead he just burns the flash, doesn't want to risk it, but with that extra health, he wants to stay in the lane, and he really will. Leona won't be able to get behind him and actually zone him off the wave, so he'll just happily wait down here, have Diamond come back into the wave, and he'll just lifesteal back up, still has potions and biscuits, so he won't lose that much priority. Varus really needs mana much more than Jhin to stay in this lane, so all in all, with the supports coming back down here, Tomo gets to push out the wave and won't be denied.
And not sure where the rest of them are, but Total has taken a recall as we can see because Duskblade of Draktar is finished. Finn now this time with Broxah in tow is going to try and do this 1v1 again, but Kumo letting it go. Ragnarok pop, Kumo trying to dash away. Flash set committed for Broxah. Kumo maybe can turn it around, but doesn't quite have enough. That's going to be the kill to Broxah.
He does not want to take any chances dealing with a Gwen. Now, right now, she's not strong enough to turn that, but later into the game, with the Rift they Maker and enough items, Gwen will be able to just snip through Olaf, so she has to take these fights with a grain of salt, knowing that later on she will be able to turn, and that's what Brox is respecting with that flash. He knows that with the Ignite, there is always a chance for Gwen to turn things around.
CLG, though, are building a lead slowly, which is nice, as Gordrinker is now done for Broxah. Level 11, though, for Triple. Surely his Mythic is done at this point. Probably Luden's, if the trend is going to hold for the long as we've seen, and indeed it will be Luden's Tempest.
That's Mythics completed on every side on FlyQuest, so they are slowly falling behind in gold, and they have been getting pushed in relentlessly from CLG, so the plays they've attempted to make haven't all worked out. It's only been that one against Pobelter, but Wild Turtle's been consistently pushing the bot lane. Every time we pan to top side, Finn is just suplexing Kumo somewhere, and then the mid lane, Triple doesn't have the safety to go in against Pobelter without jungle or support backing him up. So until Diamond and NXI path towards his side, everywhere on CLG's get to shoving in FlyQuest.
Yeah, and it's going to be a matter of like, what does FlyQuest do as a a unit, right? Whether it's 4-1 with Kumo, whether it's all 5 with Gwen joining, definitely can look to play around their mid laner. Triple pretty far ahead of POB actually, which is nice, at least as far as farm goes. But this is a risky one. Pobelter trying to bait him in. Triple just will not be caught though.
Okay, gets to dash back. Pobelter it's too obvious when he's going to go for these plays, right? He's going to throw out the claw, Triple will just distort away, and unless he's in flash range, then it's just not going to happen. And you won't buy that much time with the Merctrez, and Olaf is really terrible at actually dealing with LeBlanc. When the clone pops, you don't have any way to easily distinguish between the two, so she just gets to walk away, and half the time you're
this is so sick. Pobelter going to get out of range, and Tomo's going to have to leave, but he Gale forces out to safety. Now the re-engage from Fly happens. Smoothie going to be the target. Aftershock, tanky, but not tanky enough. Is now POB back over the top. Ults himself. FlyQuest, though, going to back away through it. NXI pops the ulti. Tomo with the bullets. NXI flashing over the top, but Pobelter will survive for now as Triple finds the chain on Wild Turtle, but there is no follow-up.
FlyQuest still get a single kill off that, and now Dragon is up, so they're going to get an objective advantage out of this play. Teleports are up on the top laners, so they're not even interested in joining this fight. They'll still be scrapping to the top side of the map. I am so curious to see how CLG thought they would be able to re-engage TP topside, but FlyQuest just wants to walk away. That's just a waste of teleport.
Yeah, I mean, Q and Yule is happening. They're going to get the tower out of the deal by the looks of things, so overall going to be a good trade for CLG as they will give away the dragon, but get the first tower gold, so they'll keep their edge in gold. But Kumo knew not to step too far forward there. Doesn't have flash, very hard for him to escape if he overcommits. And POB does TP to make sure that play can happen.
Yeah, they get a turret, but they're still going to lose one on their own since FlyQuest now have 3 members topside. It doesn't look, though, that CLG knows how many members are up here, so they won't commit to going further for a tier 2. They'll just happily get Tomo rather, pushing this wave, but it's just the Jhin. He doesn't push so quickly, so they actually won't be able to trade that. They'd rather reset and be quicker out on the map.
The Herald now going to be taken for CLG, so FlyQuest do need to trade for something here. But NXI basing in the bottom side of the map means that it's not going to be the tower trade. So overall, even though Pobelter did have to commit that TP, overall trade's looking very nice for them.
Yeah, CLG lose a few members on that fight, but still are getting what they want. Now with this Rift Herald, they could easily pop it into the mid lane for a tier 2. They won't need it for this. Jin's wave clear is just too low to deal with this wave and how low this turret is. So CLG, if they can open up the map, it'll mean so much for them. A Lissandra that doesn't have to worry about these tier 1s, has the whole map open for her, and her ability to just surprise you over the wall is exactly what you're counting on for these engages that snowball before Quicksilver is bought.
All right, well, Triple now trying to at least get a trade back. FlyQuest know they need to open up the map, but Finn is going to finish filling the outer ring. And now Kumo's caught in a very tricky spot, but a nice dash there escapes the incoming axe. But this Rift Herald is going to be a bigger problem here. Again, the secondary towers recently worth quite a bit more gold. This is a very valuable trade once more for CLG. And of course, with the Herald, they're always going to be first to win this play.
Yeah, 250 local gold, and they're going to get another crash into the base turret, but they won't commit for it, actually. They'll just back off, trying to defend the top lane as well. They will get some steal of a red buff, so they make that play since they have 5 members down here, but they don't commit everybody to make sure that this wave doesn't go and get lost to the turret. So CLG is continuing to being proactive, and it's a good look for them. It's something that they actually did fairly well against TSM yesterday. They did flop a Rift Herald fight, but beyond that and beyond TSM's mixed executions, TSM, or rather CLG, played a pretty good game.
All right, well, CLG, again, still ramping up. 2 minutes 25 until the next dragon is up. Flyer on pace for a relatively quick soul. Not the fastest possible, of course, but they'll take it. Certainly that's at this point the objective they kind of have to play around, right? It's the one that they've been given. And CLG have been trading so nicely, but it is going to feel tough to find avenues, especially with mid lane outer still up. But Triple, again, definitely the big point for FlyQuest right now. He's the one in the side lane trying to get the push happening.
He's important because with a LeBlanc, you rarely want to be 5v5 team fighting. You're team fighting once you get super fed, but especially against a Lissandra, she is going to outshine you in these 5v5. So it's important that LeBlanc gets to have skirmishes or just regular 2v2s, but here we go, gets caught.
Another chain Triple are going to get out. The Merc Tread's coming in clutch. 2 TPs from either side as Finn will pop Stride Breaker as he goes through. Diamond can't slow him down. And so it looks like just a trade of cooldowns there as both teams back away.
The life of the AD carries. The rest of the team's always 4v4ing while Tomo and Wild Turtle are just in a 1v1 this whole time. Trying to catch Finn, but he's too fast. Chains won't connect. It's by himself, but there's no threat until Diamond and Triple are in range.
Yeah, Zhonya's now done for Pobelter as well. I imagine Triple has gold to spend and does need to reset somewhat soon to make it back in time for this dragon fight, but CLG, again, they've just got so much control of the map. In general, they've got all these wards in that river. Even if he is back in time, I don't know how easy it is for FlyQuest to actually contest this dragon.
It'll be really tough because especially with no vision here, the poke from Wild Turtle will stick. You hit a LeBlanc with a crucial arrow and suddenly she's not going to be able to find those flanks. So despite Wild Turtle not having been present for most of these fights, he is just doing so much damage. He's really far ahead, 40 CS up over Tomo, and his arrows can determine the outcome of this fight before FlyQuest can even think about contesting.
FlyQuest just continuing to trade here. Diamond on top of a ward alongside Tomo. This could be disastrous. They back away. I think they know, oh, they're a little too close. Gonna have to get out of there.
Okay, so Triple gets to base. He'll probably TP back with a Void Staff completed. There's already a lot of magic resistance on the squad, so he's joining up 10 seconds onto the Dragon. But now, when he TPs back, CLG knows where the flank angle is coming from. Triple has joined the squad. It'll take him too long to reposition, so CLG is happy to stay clumped and take whatever fight FlyQuest presents.
Kumo a bit late as well, so FlyQuest needs to buy time, but CLG are already on the objective, but FlyQuest staying threatening here. Kumo is going to be spotted. Triple over the side is going to try and find the angle. Perhaps just a smite fight for the Dragon. Smoothie going to lock up Kumo, though, and Kumo is going to be crushed. Into Stacy goes. They're going to try and get the Drake and get away with it. It is NXI that takes it. Kumo living for a decent amount of time. Now a 4v2 for the rest of CLG as Finn finds a massive W, but FlyQuest get a kill. And now Tomo unleashes on Broxah. He has to flash away. Last bullet's good. Ooh. Pull back there from NXI. Stolen off the set. And now Fly going to look to turn it back around, but NXI has been slain. Diamond will fall as well. I thought Fly had it, but they lose that fight.
So many small little mistakes happening from each team that everyone is capitalizing upon. CLG split off. The Dragon resets. They all try to collapse against Kumo because he doesn't have flash, because he's such an easy target to go after, but they give up the Dragon. Now FlyQuest is at soul point, and at the same time, they're not entirely on the same page because two members are committing to this fight. So they engage onto the Gwen here, but Broxah and Finn are on a different page. They're willingly walking into a 2v4. And yes, big haymaker, half of Tomo's HP, but it's a 2v4. You're just not going to win these kinds of fights. So FlyQuest smells blood in the water. They think they've got it. NXI with the ultimate, but Broxah already has a Sterex gauge. He gets to survive. Triple doesn't have enough burst without the ultimate available. And so with Tomo hanging so far back without his ultimate or without any range of auto-attacking anybody, ends up having FlyQuest losing more members in a fight that they thought they'd get the game from.
All right, well, 4,000-ish gold down now on the FlyQuest side, but still moving towards that soul, which can kind of recoup a lot of the difference that the gold advantage can bring, but getting the Soul Dragon's going to feel tricky, to say the least. Again, FlyQuest still haven't opened up that central point, although that mid tower is pretty low, but there's just going to be a constant threat of this Baron for the next 3 minutes before that Dragon even spawns. That CLG will kind of look to spiral the game out of control before they even need to think about any sort of contest.
And you really are not going to get the kind of fight that CLG just gave you again, because their reasoning behind these hard engaged compositions has been to be on the same page. Rarely have they flopped this way. So this was a rare exception where CLG didn't have everybody on the same target, and so they'll just easily correct this and now go after every member all together. Finn by himself, though.
They have to know that the rest of them are here, and now they'll see it, but Tomo actually gonna get the ulti. Chain is good. That's a kill. Tomo finds it. Fourth bullet not even needed. Smoothie gonna get tagged by the last one, and that's an oopsie from CLG.
Too far. Finn overstepping, thinking that he's strong enough to survive, but they're going after NXI.
NXI, ulti's out, very nice. And now Diamond over the top, Hex Flash, but that Ragnaroking Olaf is not the one you want. Wears up, but he's not in range for the W-Pulve combo. So FlyQuest will have to maybe try something else here. Mid lane again, they'd love to get it if they can, but CLG are in time to defend.
It's a decent attempt from CLG, knowing that even though they lost Finn, there still was an avenue to look for a play, but Pobelcher crucially wasn't there. He split up away to the top side of the map, so he wasn't able to keep NXI locked down. They get the Heartbreaker, but it won't matter since the next fight will be more than a minute away. That cooldown will be back up. CLG need to keep in mind, the reason that last fight was almost entirely lost was because of the same mistake we just saw now. Getting too split up, not being grouped up. If they just death ball 5v5, there's not much FlyQuest can do.
All right, well, Hourglass now for Kuma as his second item. To me, kind of says, I want a team fight. Whether they should or not is maybe a different question, but definitely FlyQuest recognizing that they are likely going to have to meet CLG in the 5v5.
I'm seeing the theory behind it, which is just I want to survive long enough to snip through everybody, because Gwen loves when targets are in melee range of her. The true damage becomes so easy to hit, so if she can just buy enough time to get another instance of a fully stacked snip, she's going to be able to heal back up and survive through the initial engage of CLG. So there is a way for this Hourglass to really work out for Kumo, and if he wants to flank like he did last time, well, it also allows him to buy time for his team with the stasis.
All right, Soul Dragon, 45 seconds now, Crumb. FlyQuest grouping up. Brox has been caught. We're going to be forced to ulti out. No, it does not, but the Sterex is there. Now Tomo going to let it rip. and Smoothie gonna have to protect Broxah, but this is nice here for FlyQuest. Zoning out the enemy jungle, getting some poke down. They won't get the tower most notably, but they will get vision first around this dragon.
But crucially, Broxah has red buff. He's healing back up. Look at that, plus 27 every half second. He's back to full HP already. So all that damage they laid onto him doesn't matter. He's back at full HP. So you just gave up an ultimate from Tomo that was very important this last fight, and now Triple will have to find that damage again. Hopefully on the target that it'll actually stick. Until Broxah's red buff wears off, that poke just won't matter.
All right, so Fly have the vision advantage now, but CLG are just going to charge through together. And Triple's going to try and find the angle. Tomo, again, can also maybe poke down a little bit. CLG just sticking together. They know that FlyQuest don't want to fight them in any sort of head-on 5v5.
They have that ward on the left, so it's seeing 3 members looking for the flank. CLG can constantly walk up to Tomo and Diamond, knowing that they have to retreat. We're back to the same position as the earlier fight.
Yeah, but now you can't start the dragon. Yeah. Right, if it gets stolen, it's a little dicey. CLG going to tempt them in, and it's like, ooh, sneaking into the back brush. Now going to reveal himself, pops his E. That's a lot of space to walk around in the mist, but now NXI is a little stuck. Triple going to try and poke them down again. The Luden's Q still charging in. FlyQuest, though, they're committed for something. They are going to make a play for this Soul Dragon.
Okay, some poke. This is good.
Yeah, again, Steric's gauge pop for Broxah pretty low, and now Fly committing to the dragon. Broxah over the top. He does have flash. Maybe just going to have to be a steal. Pobelta going in. Finds it first there as Kumo's going to get shredded. Zombies is good. Smoothie getting taken out, and Triple will take him out. But the dragon goes over to CLG, and who's going to win the rest of the fight? It's Ragnarok popped. It's NXI getting chased away. It's Triple. Maybe a little too low, but he's going to live. Actually in the brush now, recalling away. Can TP back through as Tomo is going to pop it there, gets queued up by Wild Turtle, holds it, Triple again, TPing in, trying to find the pincer maneuver. Tomo, Gale Force again, Triple making a big play, on the Wild Turtle he goes, and Triple will find the shutdown. And CLG now forced to run, Tomo flashing in, FlyQuest exploding on the back end of the fight.
They could go for Baron after this. They lost the soul, but they still have a Baron with 40 seconds up on Broxah. There's no chance of a steal. FlyQuest make the play happen. CLG committed everyone to going after Tomo because with Kumo, since Tomo is a Jhin, he just can't kill tanks. So as long as the Gwen dies, they know their beefy front lines will survive. CLG trying to make a last stand. They're posturing for it, but this will be suicide if they attempt it.
That's only a fight or like a miracle steal. They have no way, they have no jungler, they have no hope to take that one away, and FlyQuest will successfully secure the Baron. So now the game is back to even. But one team is Baron at Soul Point, and the other team is CLG.
They are actually counting on their hands to outplay CLG on this, and it's working out. Triple's miracle fight at the very end was so key. He got locked in Lissandra's prison, but was still able to fight. So we're going to take a look at the Honda performance play here from FlyQuest. They have control wards that prevent CLG from knowing what is happening. And so Broxah gets chunked out, doesn't pop the ultimate, and then you see that CLG is fed up. They've got some vision. They want to go after Kumo, but everyone is committing to this fight. Lissandra goes in. You have so much damage onto him. Yeah, they burst him, but he buys time with that Hourglass. We mentioned how important this would be, and so with those crucial extra seconds, FlyQuest can kite back and can set themselves up to carry the fight afterwards. FlyQuest with a great heads up here to know that Triple can base and TP back. Not sure why CLG is still lingering here. They could have just walked away, but they bought enough time for Triple to make it.
And look at him go!
Yeah, bam.
Everyone just flashing in there. Diamond sets it up. Triple's dancing around every skill shot. Tomo yeets it at the end. It's just fun to watch.
He bought enough time for the chain proc to go through and still distort back to keep his life. He's got a death cap now, 600 gold. With how difficult it is to go into this composition, you're amazed to see that he had
Diamond, two-man pole. Follow up from Tomo, the man don't miss very often. Smoothie gonna get crushed down by Kumo's, not even, I don't know what that was. Pobelta trying for the flank, but Triple will make you pay for that one. Pobelta is gonna go back. Where did he go?
He can chase him.
He's moving away. He eat away. Now FlyQuest pushing down mid. Don't worry about it. Triple. He'll deal with it later. FlyQuest barreling down mid.
He can chase and kill him, and they need Pobelter to be here if they want to defend this base. FlyQuest can get an inhibitor.
Triple losing the fight right now. Pobelta ultied him though. I'm trying to cast from the cooldowns there. Triple again. Oh, he explodes him! The man's unstoppable!
It just pops him right there. Pobelter thought he had some damage staying up close, but Triple has a death cap. He's got a void. It doesn't matter how much health and how many resistances Pobelter has. They'll now wait for him to make it back onto the map, though. They won't continue this siege. They know momentum has entirely swung with how fed Triple is. He can now lay on the flank, and nobody from CLG can answer him. That's going to give Triple better positioning that he's ever had before, and Wild Turtle's life is just not safe. He's got an Edge of Night, but that won't matter. A single distortion with a sigil will pop that, and then he'll be vulnerable.
And again, Kumo's getting stronger, right? Maybe move to third item. Maybe he can sideline. Diego now has 2 items as NXI's finished Blade of the Ruin King. Tomo has 3 items, so everything starting to come together here. FlyQuest have a decent lead, right? 2,500 gold. They're going to be playing for the soul point in 50 seconds. The game is well within distance for CLG. But how FlyQuest are maneuvering fights against a team that they know just wants to 5v5 front to back you is such a joy to watch.
They're playing so well around the LeBlanc. They knew exactly how to play through her. Mentioned it at the beginning of the game. Play through this lane. Support and jungle have to work together, and now Triple is delivering. By himself, he's just pushing CLG far back. They're grouped up as 5, but they're so scared. They just can't stand up to her.
No vision. 20 seconds, Soul Dragon looming. Triple again, Pokey. Oh my goodness, LeBlanc. It's filthy. And FlyQuest just cutting back. Like, CLG have to run into them now. But Tomo with the traps, they're going to slow him down. Triple again, dancing around all the skill shots. Pobelter's trying to find out. Tomo cleanses out. Tomo running away, but now he's going to turn it back around. He runs out with the Jim 4 shot, but the rest of CLG are going in. But Kumo has the flank. Triple's dancing back around. Finn already connected his ulti. And now what do they do as Kumo is just going to get the kill alongside MSI. Tomo on the other is getting it done as Triple's dominating FlyQuest Academy. They needed to outplay CLG to win these fights, and they are outplaying them.
Oh, Tomo's getting away. The last disrespect.
You got a Tomo, shoot him in the... Shut down for Brux here at the Amber Fly. They'll take it.
It's 4 for 1. Broxa split off to chase down Jin, but he couldn't. That's what we mentioned. How quickly could Jin just run away from Olaf? It's going to cost an inhibitor. 20 seconds with a LeBlanc and Gwen. They could posture for more, but they're just going to back off because there is a key to victory just lying in wait. The Ocean Soul is now available for FlyQuest taking. It'll be their most rewarding objective of this whole game. Look at the damage. Both carries just showing up with double 4,000 damage dealt.
Yeah, that is overtime for both those carries there. As Kumo and NXI are like a surprisingly effective front line.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch them navigate this comp. They'll grab the Ocean Salt here. They're rocketed up that lead to almost 5,000. Baron's up in 45. Again, still a game that CLG can take away from FlyQuest, but it is all their momentum right now to watch Triple's perspective.
Okay, so we first got to see what Tomo was doing, but how did Triple play this fight? Because without the Olaf, there's not that much damage once he removed a single target. Gets locked up, flashes away, makes sure that he doesn't get hit by the chains, and now he lies in wait. Ultimate's back up. Who's gonna die? 1 member, 2 members, and the third.
Hey, a triple.
Triple for Triple.
Hey. Look at the camera. All right. FlyQuest back through mid. Triple with the blue buff. Level 18. 803. 4 items done. One of them's a death cap. 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. Give this man a book. He's about to read right into the CLG Nexus.
Got 610 ability power right now.
That's a lot of ability power.
And there's a carry with not a single point of MR, so he's in
Kumo
trouble.
just face tanking. Are they going to save him? Good ulti. So good zonies, excuse me, to dodge the Leona ulti. Triple back in. Smoothie again. Getting poked out. It's Tomo from downtown. Like it's been all game. Diamond going in. Pops the ulti. FlyQuest looking to try and put the finishing touches on this game. Finn trying to save the day, but that he cannot do. They will kill Diamond, but NXI's in there. Finds the face breaker onto Smoothie. Broxa re-engages out of his own Guardian Angel, but Tomo cuts him down. FlyQuest so close to taking their second game on the weekend.
They've got Ocean Soul. They can stay on this push while CLG have to get Pobelter back to base. They're not going to stay for it, though. They'll use that extra health to go back for Baron, and that is the beginning of the end for CLG. They just can't teamfight anymore. They tried to catch Kumo like they've done before, but his itemization is already completed. He can buy enough time. They do get Diamond, but this is an unconsequential kill. The Alistar just doesn't matter when you've got to deal with a LeBlanc that is so freaking fed.
Let's watch this one again. Again, just another wonderful team fight from FlyQuest.
So they don't know where Triple or Diamond are at. There's double control wars, but since Kumo stays behind and there's a TP ward, they think they can go after him. But with the stopwatch and the Alistar there, he buys so much time, and by now, FlyQuest is doing a surprisingly good job in using kiting spells to lock them away. With the Gwen ultimate and the Jhin ultimate, they're able to just stay really far back, slow CLG down, and a hard engaged composition on the retreat is just never where you want to be if you're in CLG.
And one of the things that I've noticed in 2 different replays now, for Diamond it was an Elixir he had in that one, and in Triple's Triple, he had an Elixir there as well. This is something they actually do quite often, and to me it just speaks to the spirit of this team. When there are fights to be had, they will maximize their gold investment to make sure they win them.
And I love that, because components at this stage just won't mean anything. But the extra lifesteal, the extra damage that you get, the guaranteed effects at this stage in the game will mean more. And those might be those tiny increments that these teams are thinking of when it comes to winning these fights. We heard from Flush, he wants to play better, just 5% better. Well, here we go.
All right, here it is. Perhaps a Hail Mary for CLG, but FlyQuest, there's no tower there. Diamond back in. That's 2 dead already. Tomo is getting chased down by Pobelta, but he's going to flash out of the way. Dodges the skill shot. Outplays POB, and it's going to be an ace as Finn will be locked up from long range, and Triple will get his final kill of the game, given over to Tomo, and FlyQuest are going to be 2-0 on the weekend, and they bloody deserve it.
The reign of Academy. If you weren't watching LCS Academy before, you better be doing it right now, because FlyQuest Academy has come to the LCS in style. They are looking like one of the most exciting, well-polished teams, and CLG is just lost for words. Where did this team come from? We've never seen anyone play like this before. You're damn right.
It says a lot when you pick a team comp that requires you to out-execute your opponents in 5v5s in order to win the game. That wasn't necessarily the plan, right? Like maybe Gwen LeBlanc, you want to play 4-1 or 1-3-1, right? Then the game is very different. But that is not the game they got off out of that draft. They had to 5v5 CLG to win, and in order to win, they had to just play better, and they did.
I'm just so impressed by the fact that the Academy team gave us the best LeBlanc combo that we have seen in the past 2 weeks. It's made its way across the globe. So many teams struggle with it, but FlyQuest today showed us exactly how to play with it early, how to deliver with it in the mid game, and how to mechanically outplay your opponent in the end. At least while Turtle's still smiling though. Smile through the pain, baby.
Hey, it's Turtle's been around a long time. He knows it all, Crumbs. He's been on the LCS roller coaster for a decade almost. But FlyQuest, feeling good. Triple all smiles there as the 2-0 weekend. Could turn into a 3-0 tomorrow. And that man's LeBlanc spills water all over his nice new jacket. That man's LeBlanc is nasty.
Yeah,
I said it's a pick he's played a lot of, and he's showing me why.
That was just really good. This whole team played so well. So many members actually just showed up at individual fights. NXI initially with the Viego was so important. Before LeBlanc even started doing all of her LeBlanc shenanigans, it was NXI who set up so many of those plays.
Yeah, Viego doesn't feel like a super high mobility champion relative to like what we have now in League. But man, when the cooldowns are low and the game is late and the player knows what they're doing, NXI was just gliding through team fights.
You mentioned how well Viego can tank surprisingly before having
both
any...
Gwen and Viego was like, oh, we'll tanks, I guess.
Gwen tanks with the invulnerability. Viego has an untargetability. Every time he gets these possessions, you get those single kills with the burst from LeBlanc. Suddenly, he buys 1.5 seconds of time, has a new lease on life, and can continue to stall out a fight.
All right, well, that's enough from us. We are going to send it over now to Dash for the Verizon post-game interview alongside NXI.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. We're talking about FlyQuest Academy. I think it's time to drop the Academy. This is FlyQuest, LCS, NXI, 2-0 so far on the weekend. How does that feel, man, to step up and essentially start saving the season for the org?
Feels pretty good. I think a lot of people had doubts about us when we first came in because, you know, we're like Academy. So I'm just glad that I didn't let like Nick down and, you know, the whole staff and the coaches, because we kind of went in like with nothing to lose because, you know, like we were kind of on a 10-game losing streak. But Yeah, I'm glad we could start off the weekend 2-0, and then hopefully if we can win tomorrow, we'll close out, or we'll have the first 3-0 that FlyQuest has had all year. So
Damn right, that's what I like to hear right there. You talk about not wanting to let people down. I think you've already blown expectations out of the water. You're making tons of fans for this squad, and you're giving us exciting games. I'm curious from your perspective, you did mention how it kind of felt like you had nothing to lose. Is it that kind of freedom, or what specifically it is about this roster that you guys do seem to play with such freedom on the Rift?
yeah, I mean, when I talk about freedom, it's more just like, like get in there, like really we had nothing to lose. So, like just play however you would when we're in academy, and, like just have fun out there and stuff. Because I'm confident in our team fighting and stuff. So when we get into games and stuff, like we're not really afraid to like skirmish and stuff, take team fights, whether it's good or bad. Like I really just, I enjoy that aspect of like our team specifically, because I think all 5 guys trust each other a lot. And when we make a call to fight, like everybody just jumps in and, commits to the fight. So
that's been one of our main talking points. Good or bad, everybody's committing to the fight. And even if it does go poorly, we're right back out onto the Rift looking for the next one. I want to talk a little bit about your personal journey from scouting grounds to LCS starter in a year's time. Did you expect to be here in your journey at this point?
Not really. I walked into, FlyQuest Academy because, I trusted Nick and the whole org. And I was under Jose Dioto. And, his fan base is a little crazy. Like, not crazy in the sense that, like, they're, like, crazy, but it is, like, he has so many fans, So
yeah.
That on top of the fact that I really do respect Brandon as a player, jungler, and, like, as a friend, like, we're pretty close. So I wanted the best for him, and I always looked up to him and, like, respected him. And always, we used to always talk back and forth about jungle, but I think the past few weeks with our main team just not having synergy and stuff, right? Things just not clicking. I expected to, kind of play with the academy squad a few weeks down the road, but from scouting grounds, no, I didn't think I'd be LCS in 7 months.
All right, well, so it might be an accelerated timeline, but considering that you are here, I want to get an understanding of the kind of jungler that you want to be. When you think about, years down the line, the way that your career is ultimately going to be remembered, what kind of a jungler are people going to talk about when they hear the name NXI?
I don't want to be remembered for anything specific. Just hopefully like accomplishments down the road, like winning LCS, whatever it may be. Maybe going to Worlds and performing well. But not any playstyle specifically, right? Because I don't want to be known for like not being able to play something.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess just that.
Jack of all trades and a world champion to boot.
Yeah.
All right, we'll settle for that. World champion. Why not? NXI, congratulations on the 2-0 start to the weekend. I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you got to prep for one more tomorrow. But thank you for taking the time to interview with me.
Thank you.
From here, we're going to a break. When we come back, it's the State Farm Analyst Desk closing out the day. We'll catch you there.
I didn't order a pizza.
I know. But that Parker promo saved me so much on my insurance. Brought you a little something special.
Parker, State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
You're the man, man.
And you want the real deal? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back to the LCS. We are here at the State Farm Analyst desk to wrap up the day after a FlyQuest victory. I'm just so happy. I don't know what was going on.
I don't know. You're trolling me. I don't know.
Raz and I are having a staring contest.
Yes.
Well, trolling aside, hearing from NXI was dope. I was so excited to get to hear from him after the team really showing that as a squad, they're making an identity for themselves.
Like, that interview was damn insightful. Like, the one that I was caught off guard with when he ended up talking about, you know, I don't want to be remembered for anything specific because, like, I want to be able to do it all. And he's, like, focusing more on the accomplishments. So I think there's a lot ahead for this guy. Like, this team, as Mark alluded to, really fun to watch.
Yeah, they're just down to scrap. Like, I would never pretend that this was a great Dragon setup. There were wards all over the place by CLG that they weren't able to get rid of. They turn off the Dragon Soul to go kill someone. Like, it wasn't clean, but they're so down to fight as a team.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact that they just TP in and we're watching this and we're like, this is not a good idea. And you know what? It ends up being a good idea because they're still all going in. And you can look at a lot of these fights and be like, this was a really bad idea because of X, Y, Z. Like, you can actually point out when this doesn't hit or because you have vision here, you shouldn't have gone in. But I really appreciate this from this team because you have so many fights that look like they're gonna be bad and they're just like, nope, we're re-engaging, we're all on the same page mentally, and I keep stressing this, I can't stress enough how far that can actually take you as a team and how much more willing or how much easier it is to work on things internally if you guys are all on the same page. I mean, Artemis even alluded to it earlier when he was talking about EG's practices.
Yeah, and even like kind of alluding to just that point you're gonna make. You know, great segue. It's because, like, based off of what Artemis is saying, like having trust in mechanics, and what we just saw there was just like not only Tomo instant cleansing, so I know even going for an ultimate Lissandra ulti on him was pretty troll, but like he reacted to that very damn quickly. There's also a mid fight that happened where LeBlanc got max combo on towards the AD carry and just obliterated them. He could have gone for the easy option and just like went W ulti just for the two mans that were being knocked up, but he went for a full combo, executed it, was perfectly done. Like, there are a lot of instances, even one where Olaf was just chasing the dam.
Tomo had some fancy feet this game.
That was hilarious. Like, there were multiple instances where I felt like they just played mechanically really well. LeBlanc over the wall, gets chained down, the follow-up from NXI to nail down the kill really early on in the game. Beautiful moments you get to see from a team that understands each other.
Yeah, and I love, on that note, Emily bringing up hearing from Artemis earlier about coaching EG, and when we look back at what Jizuke was saying about needing to be proactive and be willing to make that play, Triple, who is our player of the game, also was saying the similar thing when he was on the desk with us, not being afraid and not backing down, even when things go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, from basically minute one with NXI, they were the kind of focal points in the early game. They were hopping in, they got the kills. They combo together extremely well, which is why I was excited to see both of them coming in as a package because they clearly work together. Triple also talked about raising NXI up a little bit from a scouting grounds player. So I think this whole team is just so clearly on the same page and enjoy playing together.
Yeah, I think what's really nice to see from this team that's different from like the main LCS team that we see for previous weeks is like they're on. I know we've kind of hammering it down, like on the same page and all that, but like Triple, as I mentioned in the previous one, getting the chain off, and this was like he just noticed like the Alistair over the another champion over the wall. And then NXI's on the same page, gets that kill. And also in one of the team fights, like Triple has been doing a great job playing on flank and playing out of vision. A lot of the same feedback that I would give to FlyQuest throughout the split, or even just like some of the lower tier teams, where it's like you don't need to show all 5 members in front of them. There are multiple times where you can be a lot more creative, and I thought this was a very creative game from Triple.
Good stuff from FlyQuest. Definitely a feels-good game to end our day. And as we take a look at the standings and some of the other teams and how they're doing, TSM and 100 Thieves are tied for first, which makes tomorrow's matchup all that much more interesting. And while Cloud9 and TL share third, and Evil Geniuses only 1 win behind them.
Yeah, so TSM are actually super interesting to me right now because I actually weirdly do think this is a team that does have a similar mindset, and they are on the same page. They've been trying out some of these melee compositions, have not looked comfortable with them. Like, I'll put it out there, like, I have not been impressed, but I do appreciate that they are trying it. And I feel like this is something that always comes up whenever we talk about TSM, right? It's like, are they gonna stick to the style they already have, or are they going to try to experiment? I like that now they're in a good position, that they are trying out some more of these like meta-heavy comps, even though the execution definitely isn't there.
Yeah, because top 5 teams are all locked for playoffs already, and this is not quite the like get in perfect form week 9, week 8 thing. Like, this is the ideal time to mess around a little bit.
When it comes to what we got going for the rest of the week, though, we do wrap things up with Team Liquid versus Golden Guardians, FlyQuest opposite Immortals shortly after, and a banger in game number 3 as TSM, as we're talking about, take on 100 Thieves and locking into the Rift with a battle for first.
Yeah, game 3, game 4 are immediately just like the ones where you get out the popcorn, get out your best chairs, all that stuff.
Know what you mean, game 2? FlyQuest?
Yeah, I was gonna say that game 2 is gonna be really interesting.
Let's go ahead and get a preview of that match to come.
This weekend, the top 2 teams in the LCS go head-to-head. The most successful team in the history of the LCS look to reclaim their throne.
Power View on the Viego has already got his double, can go for a third. Kaisa picks up 2 more, and now it's only Raze left alive, and he's going to fall.
While a new team tries to stay the king of the hill.
100 Thieves have been on an absolute tear through the LCS, straight to the top of the standings here.
Louis getting in there, FBI diving in, it's 100 Thieves. Want to know that is someday gets 3 or 4 straight into the wall, and 100 Thieves are going to run away with this game.
It's the battle for first,
Wait,
baby.
the rest?
Nah, I'm just chilling, you know, relaxing. I noticed a nice cat that's under the desk.
Oh, yeah, there's
petting the cat.
Your phone?
That's how I named my cat, my phone.
I don't know what's going on this desk today, but that's going to be a really hype matchup. There's things under. Here, I'll show my shoes are down there. No one see my shoes today.
Nice shoes.
Better than most of our shoes. I will say, we were just talking about experimenting. I feel like 100 Thieves TSM is not the match you experiment in, though. That's your try hard, heat check, prove that we're one of the top teams in the league kind of thing.
Yeah, it would be pretty horrendous for 100 Thieves to come in with a 0-3 week after all the hype going their way, right? For sure, this game is going to be a banger. I'm looking towards the bottom lane, seeing Lost versus FPI. FPI has been having a great split regardless of it, so like that is going to be a pretty damn exciting one. I know that Lost and Sword Heart's have been getting better and better. They've been scaling throughout the split, so that could be nice.
Yeah, good stuff to come. That's going to be good. That's going to do it for us here on the LCS. Now, on behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more LCS. Good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. Woo, bye.
Pet the cat.
Bye. Pet the cat.
Get your phone out.
Yeah, it's true.